Hey everyone, Leo Bond here. I'm back again today for the Best Buy Canada blog, and this time I'm taking a look at a pair of RBSM Electric Sports Scooters. I've got an all black one and I've got a white one with some pink trim, and I tell you, these things are very, very cool. I've been testing them out for a couple of weeks now. My father-in-law actually came over and helped me out testing them for a few days. We rode all over the place. We put them to a bunch of different tests, and I'm going to let you know here today how that all shook out and what happened. Now, the first thing though that I want to talk about is the main features that these have, the main features and specs, that is. So these two scooters, they actually have a digital speedometer right there on the middle of the handlebars, and it actually also gives you a real-time reading of your remaining battery power, which is something that the last time I tested some scooters like this, they did have the battery indicator, but they did not have a speedometer. And I've also heard about some other scooters that we have to go into an app to find out how much battery power is remaining, and that kind of seems a bit annoying to me. These ones, it's all right there in front of you, which is very, very nice. Now, these things have a 250 watt motor that is capable of getting up to a top speed of about 25 kilometers an hour. The top speed that I was able to reach myself, though, was about 21 kilometers, and that was going downhill. On flat surface, I was just around 20 or so. I believe it was the same for my father-in-law. Now, the range for these, as far as you can go on a battery charge, that is about or up to at least 28 kilometers, but that is going to depend on several factors, such as the rider's weight, the kind of terrain you're on, the sort of the quality. Is it flat? Is it level? Is there hills? All that kind of stuff. And so, you're not necessarily always going to get that 28, but in some situations you may well. Now, also, this thing has a hand brake on the left of the handlebar there. There's a little bell. There's a fairly powerful headlight if you want to drive it after dark. There's also some brake lights in the back, a little one anyway, a little red one. That's kind of neat. It's got a rear suspension system, and it will hold about 110 kilograms of weight, so that's about 240 odd pounds. That's more than I weigh, so no problem there. I didn't have any trouble with it. Now, the total weight of the device itself is around 13 kilograms. That's about 28 pounds, so you certainly don't want to carry this, but it is, I would say, it's portable, and of course you can just always hop on it and go just about anywhere. Now, I did put this thing, me and my father-in-law, we put it to a few tests. So one test that we did was the speed test. And like I say, on level ground, we were able to get it up to about 20 kilometers an hour apiece. Now, I do weigh probably 50 to 60 pounds more than him, so it was obviously a little bit probably easier for him to get up to speed. And that's something that we found out in the acceleration test. And the way that we did that one, we kind of treated it like a race. We had a starting line, and basically with just one kick off each, we decided to see how fast it could get up to speed. And I tell you, he got up to speed in probably only 5 or 6 seconds, maybe even less than that. And for me, it probably took about double. Now, I eventually did match his speed, but I never did catch him, and he definitely won the race on that one. Now, we also put it to a hill climbing test. And really the only nice flat paved hill near my house is a pretty steep one. It's probably about 30 degrees. And I found that for me, the only way I could get it to go uphill was to kick every few seconds, basically. And my father-in-law, I think he was able to ride it up the hill without really having to do too much kicking. But obviously the weight of the rider is going to play heavily into that one, and of course the amount of slope to the hill. If it's a less steep hill, you probably be able to go up it without too much trouble as well. Now, for the braking test, I basically found that the brakes work pretty much just like on a bicycle. You don't stop on a dime. Of course, that's not really expected. It takes a few feet before you stop, but they grab well and they work really well. And this thing actually has a couple of different, it's got like a dual braking system. So there's actually disc brakes, and there's also like a regenerative anti-locking brake system as well that's supposed to put some power back into your battery. I'm not really too sure of all of the technicalities of how that works, but it is a fairly interesting system. Now, for the range test, we didn't just go kind of in a straight line and see how many kilometers we could go to. We were more concerned with how much time we could ride it. We were in a big open parking lot. We went around and around in circles and did all kind of stuff. And to tell you the truth, after about a half an hour of that, the battery hadn't even hardly budged. I think it might have went down like 1 bar, and so we just kind of gave up. It was pretty cold at the time, but we concluded that you can definitely achieve a fair amount of distance and time riding on these things. And what was interesting is that I didn't even have to charge it up. Right out of the box, it was already, both of them already charged up. Full charge too. Very, very interesting. But anyway, I do have a lot more detail in my written review, which you can check out over at the Best Buy Canada blog. It's probably one of the longer reviews that I've done recently. I put in as many details as I could about how this thing operated and the fun that we had on it. But the main thing that you need to take away from this is that this isn't really a toy. This is a commuting, basically it's a vehicle. It's to get you to work or around town or whatever you need to do, wherever you need to go. And honestly, if you live within 3 or 4, maybe even 5 kilometers of your job, and it's relatively flat and safe area to ride, no problem with one of these. You can definitely do it. Go ahead and check out the complete written review though for the full details. Thank you for watching this video, and catch me in my next one, which will be coming up in a couple weeks. Thanks a lot.